Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Under the Radar Books. I'm Brittany and today I'm going to be doing my May wrap-up. And as you can tell, my shelves are really empty. So these books right behind me are the ones that I have decided to leave out for the time being, and everything else is in boxes, which is so depressing. I hate packing up my books because I feel like every time I get done packing them up, I want to read something that's in the box, or someone talks about something that's in one of the boxes, and then I can't figure out which box it is, and it just becomes so complicated. So anyways, I miss my shelves very much, but we will be moving here soon, so hopefully I can unpack them very shortly. So May has been a weird month for me. It's been really busy, and I just haven't had as much time to read or been as interested in reading as I usually am. I think I'm just so stressed out that it's hard to focus on what I'm reading. So I definitely have had some lackluster reads. I feel like I haven't really read anything that was super like amazingly outstanding, but I guess I'll get into that. So the first thing that I read finished in May was Now You See Me by S.J. Bolton. And this is the first in a crime series, and it stars a young woman named Lacey Flint who is a part of the police force, and this one follows a killer who is mimicking Jack the Ripper, and it was really fascinating. There's lots of facts and theories and things about Jack the Ripper that I never knew, that I found really fascinating and really interesting, and it definitely kept me intrigued, but I wasn't blown away by it. It was a little bit predictable, but I am intrigued to read the rest of the series. I've heard the second book in the series is really outstanding and very creepy, so I will definitely be picking that up. I have read a couple standalones by S.J. Bolton and really enjoyed those, I think more so than this particular book, but I gave this one 3 stars. And then following that was the book buddy-a-thon, which took place in the beginning of May, and I had 2 buddies, Rachel from The Reader and the Write and Chelsea from The Reading Outlaw, and we read together Human Acts by Han Kang, and you can see my thoughts in my book buddy-a-thon wrap-up, which I will link down below. Also for the book buddy-a-thon, I read The Red Parts by Maggie Nelson, and this is a true story about Maggie Nelson's aunt who was murdered and how she kind of deals with that. There's more in my wrap-up as well. I also finished The Trees, which I talked about, and also Everything is Teeth by Evie Wyld. So once again, I will link my book buddy-a-thon wrap-up down below if you want to go hear more about those titles. Next, I was supposed to read the Swan book by Alexis Wright, and I received this as a galley from NetGalley, so I was going to read it, and Stephanie from That's What She Read also said that she had it, so we were going to buddy read it together, and we both started it, and it is so complex, and the writing is very beautiful. It's very poetic, it's a nice prose, but it was just so dense to get through, and I read like, I think 40 pages, and I still had no idea what was going on. Like, it just went over my head. So it's definitely one that I want to try at a later date, because I've heard that it's definitely a very popular Australian book, and I would really like to get through it and see what it has to offer, but the time right now is just not right, just because there's so much going on, and I just really feel like I can't focus, and I'm looking for more lighthearted and more fast-paced books just to keep my attention, because with everything going on, I just can't focus. So that was unfortunately a DNF from me, and Stephanie actually DNF'd it as well. So after that, I got another galley from NetGalley, which was A Fierce and Subtle Poison by Samantha Mabry, and I really enjoyed this. I think I gave it 3.5 stars in the end, but this is a YA book that has just recently been released, and it follows a young man who lives in Puerto Rico, and his dad is basically like a hotel kind of mogul, and so he's grown up very wealthy, and he every summer visits Puerto Rico and, you know, hangs out with the same people, and there's this legend that a old abandoned house at the end of this one street is inhabited by a green girl who basically haunts this house. And so it plays off of, you know, Puerto Rican legend and Puerto Rican culture, which was really interesting to me because my parents actually lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit over 3 years, and so I have visited there I think 6 times, and so I loved hearing about the places that I had actually been in the book and the culture, and they really She as an author really did a great job of capturing the feeling of the island and the feeling of the culture, and I really, really enjoyed that a lot. And there was definitely a really great diverse group of characters, which I really appreciate, especially in a YA book. And I kind of liked the blurring of this folklore and real life events. And so if you are feeling something that's a little bit lighter and an interesting take on folklore and the Puerto Rican culture, I would definitely recommend A Fierce and Subtle Poison. And yeah, it was a really great read, and so I would definitely recommend it. Then I checked out from my library the first volume of Rat Queens, Sass and Sorcery, and this is by Curtis J. Weeb, I think is how you spell or how you say that. And I really loved this so much. It follows a kind of ragtag group of girls in this fantasy sort of universe where they are kind of hired to do these odd jobs, and they're all just so distinct and different and diverse as a group of women, and they're just really badass, and they just are awesome. I can't wait to continue with the series. This one was really an introductory kind of to the world and to the characters, and we got a couple of tidbits of information kind of about who they are and where the story might be going. So I'm really interested to read the next two I think are available right now. So I will keep you guys posted on how that goes. But if you haven't picked this up, I would really, really recommend it. It's such a fun read. And I gave that one 5 stars because I just enjoyed it so much. And it was just a quick read. I honestly would like to read it again. And I just really loved it. Next, since me and Stephanie kind of failed in the buddy reading department for the Swan book, we decided to pick up Swampland Dia by Karen Russell. We both have had it for a long time and just decided to give it a go and do the buddy read together. So this is the first Karen Russell book that I have read. I do have her 2 short story collections as well. And I liked this a lot. I gave it I'm probably gonna give it 3.5 stars because I feel like it's more than a 3, but it's not quite a 4 for what I want. But this follows a family who runs basically an alligator kind of like amusement park, and the main character is Ava, and she's the youngest of 3 children. She has an older sister named Ozzy and an older brother named Kiwi. And before the book begins, their mother has passed away. She was a famous like alligator wrangler, and so Ava's trying to follow in her footsteps. And it just really follows this family and their dynamics and how they take care of one another and what they'll do for one another. And it's just quirky and interesting. I couldn't help but think that this would make such an amazing Wes Anderson movie because it just reminded me of the type of characters that Wes Anderson does and how they're just so interesting and just have this really interesting story to tell, but at the root of the story is, you know, basics of love and family and the things that are really important. And so I really, really enjoyed this. I did feel like it had a lot of build throughout the story, and then the ending just fell really flat. I just felt like it had this build, and then like just completely plateaued. There was no like climax. There was no real ending, I felt like. So I was a little bit disappointed with that. And so I just wanted a little bit more from it. It probably would have been a 4-star read for me, but I still would recommend it. I'm definitely interested to try Karen Russell's stories, which I've heard are even better. So that makes me really excited to try her other work. Also this month, I was contacted by this author to and asked if I wanted to receive this book and review it on my channel, and I said yes because it looked so adorable. And this is Bearded by Jeremy Billups. This is a children's picture book, which it was so fun to read this to my son, and we've read it tons of times and he really loves it. And you can buy this on his website, so I will link that down below for you guys. But it's just the cutest book about a bearded bear who goes and tries to find other bearded animals. And it is just a really, really sweet story, and it's a lot of fun. So if you have a little one or, you know, a niece, nephew, grandchild, whatever, I would definitely recommend getting them this for a gift. And it came with some really cute stickers and little things, so I just think it is so much fun, and I really, really think that lots of kids would like it. The last book that I read in May was Hidden Bodies by Caroline Kepnes, which is the sequel to You, which I absolutely loved. And I was so disappointed in this. I gave it 3 stars because it was still interesting and I still enjoyed Joe as a character, but I felt like it was so contrived. It was really forced. It didn't feel like this was this story of this, you know, sociopath like the first one felt. It just felt, I don't know, it didn't work the way that the first one did. And I can't really say very much about it because if you haven't read You, I don't want to give anything away. But you know, Joe is in the first one, he ends up stalking a young woman and becoming obsessed with her. And similar things happen in the second book. He has a very obsessive personality and he really doesn't have any type of like moral compass whatsoever. And it's still very fascinating and I definitely was interested in reading it, but I just felt like it didn't pack the punch that the first novel did. So I will definitely read anything else that Caroline Kepnes puts out because I just really like her voice and I think she's just incredibly interesting as an author, so I will still be reading her books, but yeah, this one was just a 3-star read for me. So that is everything that I read in May. Like I said, it was a little bit of a blah month for me. The only things that I really enjoyed were the graphic novels that I read. So I think that kind of depicts the kind of mood that I'm in these days where I just want something that is quick and easy and accessible. And so I'm going to try to do that next month and just kind of do things that are going to be easy reads with everything that we have going on. So I'd really like to know what you guys read in May. What was your favorite read? How do you guys deal with book slumps? I'm always interested in that. And yeah, until next time, happy reading, guys.